Netflix users are divided over The Irishman. Is it boring or is it a masterpiece? That's the question we are going to be pondering on this Monday's Movie News. Yes, John, that is the question we are going to be challenging over the next half hour or so. Both of us have seen the movie, 3.5 hours long. I have seen the comments on social media as well in regards to people loving it, people liking it, and some people think it's just boring. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Stephen, look, you know my thoughts on it. We were speaking about it before we came on, but I'll share the thoughts with people out there if they are watching, because that is why they are watching. I thought it was an absolute masterpiece, Stephen. I feel that I agree with those people. It was just incredible in so many different levels, from technical standpoint all the way down to the performances, everything, the shots, the incredible de-aging technology. I was concerned about it, I know you were as well, getting into this movie. The trailer was a little bit iffy. It showed the best parts of the de-aging, but it also showed the worst parts of the de-aging as well. But I think you agree, you says it to me, you actually watched it before me on the plane home. Yeah. And you says that it never took you out of the movie at any one stage. You become accustomed to it after a while, but there is some moments where it is a little bit jarring. You look at it and you're saying, wow. And I think it was mostly De Niro, because he did have the blue eyes, obviously CGI'd on. I don't think it was contact lenses. They chose to digitally alter the colour of his eye, and it was jarring because we know he's not got blue eyes. But all in all, I think it was an absolute masterpiece. I think Scorsese has hit it out the park once again. We are going to be doing an amalgamation of topics on this team, which we'll get into. How, ironically, this movie has been perhaps gained inspiration from a specific set of movies. But we'll get into that at some other point. What was your favourite part of this movie, Stephen, in terms of the whole package? Was it just a combination of everything, or was it one specific thing? Performances, the directing, the visuals? Probably for me, John, was obviously the build-up for the introduction of the Al Pacino character. I felt the way they dealt with that was natural. It was the moment we were all waiting for, because the buzz was obviously Al Pacino was going to be the star of the show. I actually didn't get that from the film's experience. You're right. I watched this on the airplane coming back from my holiday, and it did kill a few hours, so I appreciate it on that level. I hope you watched it on your iPad. Yeah, because Scorsese's been speaking about that. Yeah, I did actually. It's one of the features on Netflix that I do appreciate, is obviously the download feature. But yeah, going back to the characters, John, going back to the actors, I should say, I think, I thought Al Pacino was going to be the standout, but I felt that Pesci and De Niro were on even keel as far as performances went. There wasn't any standouts, you know, between the three of them. I felt they were all just absolutely wonderful. I felt Pesci was quite understated, I thought. Well, the thing is, I mean, for him, yeah, you've got to take into account the guy's not acted over a decade as well. This shows you that, you know, how you know, capable he is of just, you know, switching on when it suits. We already discussed in previous shows, John, that obviously Scorsese and De Niro took a lot of talking Pesci round to actually coming back to do this film. I'm glad he did, though, because I loved him in the movie. I loved Pacino in the movie as well. Yeah. And De Niro. De Niro was the middleman in all the, you know, everything that was going on. So yeah, obviously had that bit more empathy for the character in regards to his position, you know, within this organisation, and obviously who he was connected to, and try to please all these different parties as well, was obviously something that was, for that character, Frank Sheeran, I think that's his name. Yeah, that was De Niro's, I think that character was the sort of the audience, you know, he carried the story through his eyes. Yeah. His relationship with his daughter as well was obviously strained. That was a wonderful part of the movie. Really enjoyed that dynamic. I thought the young girl that played the young version of Peggy, I think her name was great. You know, just she was very standoffish, and obviously Anna Paquin, from X-Men. Yeah. Obviously played the older version of Peggy. Was just outstanding, you know. But overall, John, 3.5 hours wasn't boring for me. I thought it was very interesting. I didn't really know too much about the characters, you know, their story, Jimmy Hoffa, etc. I knew the names, but I didn't know obviously where the story was going. I didn't know what the outcome was going to be in the relationship between Shane and
obviously his character as well. So it was very interesting, and Scorsese is one of the best sort of character, investors. You get right drawn into that world of his, and I don't think he could have picked a better subject to probably reunite and probably finish off with these great actors, because I think this is going to be the last time we see them all together.
Absolutely, Stephen. I think it will be, just purely because of time. It's not on their side. I thought it was a wonderful movie. You're absolutely right for the majority of the reasons you actually stated. Just it's not De Niro, it's Scorsese at his absolute best. He knows how to create really endearing dialogue, and it gets right into the soul of these characters. He's managed to take this story, which I knew nothing about. It's transpired over, I think, 50, 60 years, or the lifetime of Frank Sheeran, and he's just condensed it wonderfully. I thought it flew in as well, like you. It felt like a 2.5-hour movie to me. I really enjoyed it from start to finish. There were some superfluous moments in there which could have perhaps been cut, but I'm not going to nitpick over the genius of Martin Scorsese.
Do you get, though, John, do you understand why people would think this is a boring film?
No, I don't at all. No, this is right up my street, Stephen. I love a wide array of different movies. Obviously, I think a lot of the criticism perhaps will be butthurt comic book fans just still unhappy about Scorsese's remarks, and they're going in and deliberately going out their way to obviously condemn it and criticise it in any way they feel is necessary. I think we've got the Irishman down the stair. I think he's trying to paint walls down the stair. I don't know what's going on there. But you actually go in, Stephen, and look at some of the quotes on Twitter. I'm just going to come right out and say it. The Irishman absolutely sucked. So long, so boring. De Niro was shot out. What? The whole movie appears like everyone read the script once, shot the scene once and said, F it, 3 out of 10, no chance, this guy is on crack. I know it's all subjective art, but I'm sorry, that is just terrible. That's what I think this is, Stephen, is perhaps separating the cinephiles from the mere regular audience goers. If you are just someone that goes to a cinema and watches perhaps a movie, a blockbuster movie, and you're not going to connect with this story, this long form storytelling, these characters, the drama heavy moments, the quiet moments within there. It's not blockbuster, but balls to the wall action for the entire running time. There's some real quiet moments in there. There's moments where the characters will say nothing, but it means so much. And that's the maturity of the director, the maturity of the actors within there. It's a really different kind of movie. It feels like it's from a bygone era. Yeah. I've seen other quotes there. I think someone says he's essentially trying to recreate Goodfellas for a new audience. I'd rather watch 3 episodes of Bastard Countryfile than this pile of crap. Woeful, terrible pile of horseshit. And again, this is, I think, just immaturity from people who are unhappy with Scorsese's comments. They're not obviously giving the man the credit he deserves for this wonderful epic that he has crafted, which has taken place over multiple lifetimes, but more importantly, Frank Sheeran's lifetime. I just think they're just being a little bit facetious. They're not giving the man the absolute credit he deserves. He has crafted a wonderful movie here. But you can see there's also other tweets in there which are giving it widespread acclaim. They're saying it's an absolute masterpiece. What a complete and utter masterpiece. De Niro should win every award going. And what a joy to see Joe Pesci out of retirement. And that said, no film should be 3.5 hours long, even if it is Scorsese. Well, I disagree with that end, but this movie could have been 4.5 hours long. Yeah. And I'd have just consumed it, because I did take a break about 2 hours in, and that's the beauty of Netflix. Yeah. But Stephen, well, I don't know if you've got anything to add about the actual tweets, or do you want to just quickly dive into this whole CG thing about...
I think so, John. It's one of those things. I think that when I read this article, I felt Scorsese was probably trying to appease MCU fans. The topic obviously is in regards to he obviously owes the MCU a lot in the technical developments of the Irishman and the de-aging process. My thoughts, just briefly before we move on to box office, John, is I think it has. I think the MCU utilised the technology very naturally, didn't force it, didn't rely on it. They didn't have to use it either, but it was a nice little trick, especially with obviously Kurt Russell's de-aging and obviously Robert Downey Jr.'s. Those were the two that stood out for me. But yeah, I think Michael Douglas as well, throw him in there as well. I thought and he Samuel. Was. Yeah, I think it's one of those techniques that they've took it to a level now that it's acceptable. I think most people that go and see films now don't really get taken out of the picture too much. We talked about obviously previous about the Irishman, and the sort of opening shots was a little bit, I don't want to say jarring, but certainly it took a little bit of time to adjust to it. But once you did, certainly I was on board.
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. I agree with you. I think he's just given due credit here, Scorsese, for the clear inspiration behind this de-aging. I think he realises that if these movies that hadn't done it before, they weren't trailblazers. They're essentially the trailblazing sort of a technology side of things in the Hollywood and the modern day era. It was obviously ILM and still is to an extent, going way back to Star Wars. We had obviously Spielberg with Jurassic Park. He then inspired George Lucas to go and make the Star Wars prequel trilogy. And then again, we've got Scorsese, a man who's been putting blood, sweat and tears into this, really wanting to craft this magnificent story about Jimmy Hopper and Frank Sheeran and whatnot. And obviously Russ, played by Joe Pesci. But he couldn't, because he didn't have the technology available to him at that point. I think it's 10 plus years he's been developing this.
The only thing he could have done was recast for the sort of earlier versions of them,
which we've seen done.
Which I'm glad they didn't, to be honest with you.
And yes, Stephen, you're right. We've seen that with Moonlight. Obviously, 3 different actors playing the one character, so it could have been done. But I think from a purely technical aspect, Stephen, he would have wanted to have the likes of Bob Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci in there, playing it from start to finish. And obviously, the only way to do that would be to utilise de-aging to obviously give us the full span of this Frank Sheeran's life, from obviously being in World War II all the way through to a care home. But Stephen, it's intriguing because although they did utilise de-aging in this movie, I feel like some of the more poignant and touching moments was actually at the end, when you seen them all in jail together in prison. Obviously Jimmy Hoffa wasn't there because he was done in, but just the fact that we're all older, shriveled up and an absolute wreck, and that felt like it was practical. They made them look older than they actually are. So for all the de-aging, I actually think the most jarring aspect and the most touching aspect of the aging process came at the end of the movie, when they didn't use de-aging. But look, it is what it is. He's called a spade a spade. He's gave credit to MCU movies in a small little way, and perhaps this will teach those butthurt little fans how to show respect and have a difference in opinion. Not everyone loves the thing that you love. It's all subjective art.
Yeah.
Martin Scorsese doesn't love theme park comic book movies, as he refers to them, but he loves drama-driven, poignant, quiet movies, which this movie's got in an abundance. There's quiet moments in there that allows the characters to breathe. And I always love that. I love to have different types of movies in the cinema, from the drama-driven to the comic book to the sports and action movies and whatnot. God knows what, I'll watch anything, unless it's rom-coms. But yeah, I've not got much more to add, Stephen, on that. It's
certainly
intriguing.
Wasn't a rom-com, John, but one thing's for sure, both of us did enjoy the movie. But we'll move on now to, obviously, box office for the weekend of November 22nd to the 24th. John, coming in at number 1 is Frozen 2 in its first week.
Yes.
It's grossed £19.4 million overall.
Mind-bending performance for this movie, Stephen. As a sequel, it's a wonderful start. Really, you look at its worldwide performance, $738.5 million, nearly $1 billion already. It's only been out 2 weeks. It's incredible. I haven't yet seen the movie. No. I didn't go and see the original Frozen in the cinema, I can't lie. But I will go and watch this at some point, because I did enjoy the original Frozen, and I'm a Disney sycophant. I've said it time and again.
I think the days of Disney sequel releases, going straight to video, are long gone. I think the Incredibles, Toy Story as well, confirmed that. So I didn't have any, fears that this sequel to Frozen was going to not perform well. So this doesn't come as any surprise to me, John. I'm the same as yourself. I've not seen the movie yet. I will catch it at some point. I did see the original movie back in 2013 in the cinema, and I enjoyed it. It took me by surprise how, how catchy the tunes were. These ones as well. There's a few songs in there as well. I don't know if there's as many, but from what I've heard. But I'm certainly looking forward to it. Yeah, coming in at number 2 this week, John, it's Last Christmas in its second week. It's grossed £2.8 million over the weekend and £8.5 million overall. Yes,
Stephen, this is obviously the Emilia Clarke and obviously Henry Golding Christmas rom-com movie. I mean, yeah, I've not seen it yet. I may go and watch it if I feel like I want to get some Christmas festive spirit into me. But $67.85 million worldwide That is magnificent. So
Yeah,
hats off
is, yeah.
to them.
Yeah, number 3 this week, John, it's Blue Story in its first week. It's grossed £1.7 million overall.
Yeah, Stephen, this hasn't got a wide release and it's been neutered over here because of controversy surrounding it. Obviously, View theatres, there's people turning up in Birmingham with machetes and whatnot, trying to kill people, next to little children coming out from Frozen 2. So it's not been a good stint at the box office, and yeah, it's failed badly.
Yeah, sadly, but we'll move on to a film
it.
that has performed reasonably well, John. It's Ford versus Ferrari, Ford v Ferrari, Le Mans 66, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
And its second week, it's grossed £1.5 million over the weekend, £5.3 million overall.
Yeah, 5.3 million is not too bad, Stephen.
No.
Third weekend, 37.4. Second weekend, I should say, 37.4% drop. That's pretty decent. Obviously, it's the Matt Damon, Christian Bale movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a wonderful movie, wonderful performances. Technically, it was incredible. I expect Christian Bale to get a nomination and perhaps win, but I doubt it. $143.3 million worldwide. That is fantastic, and it deserves every single penny.
Certainly does, John. But we'll move on to number 5 this week, halfway through the box office. It's 21 Bridges, and its first week it's grossed £800,000.
Yeah, Stephen, this is a Chadwick Boseman movie. It's apparently a pile of shit in terms of artistic merit, and it's a pile of shit in terms of box office performance as well. It must have had a reasonable budget. It's a big action movie. $22.18 million worldwide is not cutting it. It's a bit of a flop for Chadwick, which is a shame.
Yeah, certainly is, John.
I'm not watching it.
It was certainly one of the ones when we did the trailer reaction. It looked okay actually, but it's not performing, and that's what counts. So we'll move on to our next film in the box office, John, coming in at number 6. It's Joker, and it's 8th week now. It's grossed £700,000 over the weekend, £73.2 million overall.
Yeah, Stephen, the Todd Phillips Joaquin Phoenix movie. We've both seen it. We both thoroughly enjoyed it. Within our top 5s of the year, comfortably. $73 million at the United Kingdom's box office is a magnificent performance. Over $1 billion worldwide. The most profitable comic book movie of all time. Hats off to everyone involved. Get it up, you all those panty-wetting sort of critics.
Yeah, why not? We'll move on anyway to number 7 this week, John. It's The Good Liar, in its third week. It's grossed £300,000 over the weekend, £4.1 million overall.
Yeah, it's the Ian McKellen Helen Mirren movie, which I've still not seen. I probably won't see now. I'll probably wait till it comes out in digital now. 57.1% drop. That is not good. That's probably curtains for this movie. It's on its way out. $22.1 million worldwide though for a drama movie. I have not got budgetary information. It's neither good nor shit, I would imagine. But it's probably not broke even. It's probably just a slight flop.
Yeah, horses for courses, John. We'll move on to number 8 this week. It's Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, in its 6th week now. It's cost £300,000 over the weekend, £18.6 million overall.
Yeah, very impressive performance, Stephen, for a sequel, a Disney sequel though. They know how to make movies, Disney, when it's tailored to the younger demographic, and they've done it again. Just shy of $500 million worldwide. It's remarkable. They must be sitting at around $4 billion for the year or something. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Maybe more. I don't know.
Who knows? But we'll move on to number 9 this week, John. It's the Addams Family, the animated film that is. And it's 5th week now. It's grossed £300,000 over the weekend, £11.9 million overall. Yes,
I went to see this 4 weeks ago. It feels like an eternity ago. It's a real nostalgia grab. It's a beige story, but the animation's cool. The characters are colourful. It is what it is. I thought it was okay. $180 million, near enough worldwide, is pretty damn decent for Universal, showing Paramount, who have had a mare this year with animated movies, how to do it.
Certainly have, John. But we'll move on to our final film this week in the box office, coming in its first week, grossing £200,000. A film I'm not really familiar with. It's Philip Glass, Akhnaten.
Akhnaten, yeah, it's a live orchestra, Stephen. It's had a very restrictive release worldwide. One other territory probably. It's just over $400,000 worldwide. It is what it is. Hats off to them. I don't really go and do these live performances after geriatrics were lifting lighters up and whatnot in a theatre. When I went to see Andre Rieu at Maastricht, that kind of I've got post-traumatic stress from that, so I'm not going back. But look guys, I'm done. Stephen's done with box office for this week. It was short and sweet because of technical issues, which we will not get into. Lord knows you don't want to know how many times we recorded this. But look, that's going to round up the box office for this Monday. It's going to round up today's movie news. What do you make about The Irishman? Are you on board with it? Do you think it's an absolute masterpiece? Or do you think it's a bore fest? What the hell is your thoughts on the CG element, the de-aging? Does he owe some inspiration, or did he take inspiration from the MCU? If you have anything to say, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below. You can like the video if you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying content like this. And me and Stephen will be back again tomorrow, if you do, for MBE Heroes.